It'll let me know if someone has, taken a look at the document and not signed it, or if they have finished signing it. So I'm going to switch over to the HR portal side real quick, just so you can see what that document looks like. So let me pull this over and zoom in here a bit more. This is the HR portal. In the URL, you can see it's team.miter.com. If people download the mobile app, there is going to be a button that says My Profile in the mobile app. When they click that, it will bring them to the team portal. But people don't need to have the app downloaded to access this. They can always go to any browser on their computer or on their phone and just type in team.miter.com. So my profile is not fully onboarded yet, so I can go into onboarding and see what information is left. If I scroll down here, there is that test company handbook that I just uploaded, and it says awaiting signature. So I can click into it. I can click view document, and that's going to show me whatever PDF was uploaded. And something to note is that in order for something to be signable, it does have to be a PDF. If you upload just like a Microsoft Word document, people can view it, but they cannot sign. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Say I agree to electronically sign this. And now my acknowledgement has gone through. Here under profile, this is where I can add my personal info. So it's going to ask for, what's your contact info, what's your date of birth, your address, your social, and so on. This is where someone can update their tax withholdings. And you'll see that this is the same screen we saw on the admin side in the team member profile. And then if I click set up payment method, again, it's going to be the same thing. So, do you want to do direct deposit or check? If I want to do direct deposit, it'll have me fill out my bank account information. Here's where they can also do their I-9. So if I click start I-9, it wants me to do my social first. So let me go ahead and add that in. So now it's going to ask my residency information. And so all the questions that are asked on here are the same as the questions on the actual I-9 form. So I'm going to say US citizen and hit continue. And now it says, okay, what documents are you going to use? Are you going to use one item from list A, or are you going to use one item from list B plus one from list C? So you can see here it has the instructions. So I'll say I'm going to upload my passport, hit continue, and now it says, okay, upload the photos you have. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some random documents in here. And then, did someone help you prepare or translate this? I'll say no. And, enter any other last names. I can preview my I-9. And so this is what it looks like. It's got my name printed, address, date of birth, social, the elections that I made earlier. And so now I can sign this. I agree and hit complete. And now it says here, please remember to still bring the original versions of these documents in with you when you go to your first day of work, because they do still have to be physically reviewed. And it says that same information right here. So if I go back to the dashboard side, acting as an admin again, you'll now be able to see what that portion looks like. So I'm just going to refresh in here. And now in my profile, under the I-9 section, it says review and submit. So this is going to initiate the admin's portion. So, hey, does this information that they entered look correct? I'll hit continue. Okay, review the documents. I can, click into this. All right, here's the photo that they uploaded. I just uploaded a report instead. Here's the, information they said was the issuing authority, document number, and expiration date. I can enter any additional information. I can preview it, and then here I can sign and enter my title. And that is the I-9 from start to finish. So I'm going to pull up this onboarding section again, or the HR portal again. And so back down here under documents, you can see that even though I've signed these, they are still accessible to me because, it's a company handbook. It's something that will always be available to me. Going through some of the other sections in the HR portal, we have pay stubs. So this is where people can access their pay stubs. People will be able to access their time off policies as well. This they can do through the mobile app or the HR portal. So they can see how many hours they have left for each policy, and they can click into request to send in a request. Forms we'll get into again in just a moment. And then if someone is already fully onboarded, this section here where it says onboarding will no longer show. So if they do need to access any documents, they'll go to this section instead. Same thing if they need to update any personal information, this onboarding section will no longer be there once they're fully onboarded. So they can just click into here to make any changes that they need. And down here is where they're able to change the language of this website from English to Spanish. If they have a question, they can click help. Okay, I'm clicking it, but nothing is happening. But when they click help, you can see very small in the bottom, it does say mail to support@mitre.com. I may just have a pop-up blocker or something, but this allows them to, initiate an email to our support team to ask any questions if something doesn't look right. So going back to the dashboard, we're going to move on to forms. Like I mentioned earlier, forms are questionnaires that you can create. So I'm going to click add form. And I'm just going to title this one, maybe it's a form where, someone needs to request a travel allowance. So we can create multiple questions in here. So I can say here, what county did you stay in? And say this field is required. I can add another question by clicking the plus sign here, and I can choose what the answer is supposed to be. So, do they just type something up? Does it have to be a number? Do they have to select from options that I give? Can they select multiple from the options that I give? Is it just a checkbox, meaning it's going to ask the question and it's just going to have a checkbox? So they check it if yes, leave it unchecked if no. I can collect a signature, or I can create a new section. I'm just going to do text for now and say, how many nights did you stay? And then maybe one more saying, what dates did you stay? You can, allow multiple submissions For something like this, where it's like a travel allowance form, you probably would want people to, submit it more than once whenever it's needed. You can allow unrequested submissions, meaning I can always access this form at any time and start filling it out. If you don't check this off, then in order for someone to access it, you have to send it to them first. And then you can say whether or not you want people to be able to edit their submissions. So maybe I filled this out. I realized I put a typo in. Do you want me to be able to go back in and fix it up? Or do I have to just contact the admin directly? And then when a team member does answer a form, you can say who you want to get an alert saying like, oh, Ari filled it out. And again, you can say whether or not this form has sensitive information, and that ties back to when you are creating your permission groups, whether or not you want that particular permission group to have access to sensitive information. So I'll hit submit there. And going back into the HR portal, if I click into forms, now we have this travel allowance. And I can open it up. I have not created any submissions yet on this. So I'll start a new one, and it says, where did you stay? How many nights, and from when to when? Going back into the dashboard, if I refresh in here, we'll see the number of submissions go up from 0 to 1. And now I can click in here and see who has made a submission and what their answers were. For this particular example, where I made it for a travel allowance, so the intention is I'm trying to figure out whether or not people need to have like extra money added to their payroll. This being filled out does not automatically add that money to the payroll. This is really just a notification to me saying, okay, now I know where they were at. I can confirm it with their manager. I know how many nights they stayed, so I know it's got to be, $100 times 4 nights. It just gives me the information that I need to add this reimbursement in the payroll. And then, forms. I think I mentioned this before, but forms can be filled out through the mobile app or through the HR portal, whichever really is more convenient for your employees. All right. And then one last thing, employees can upload their own documents in here. So if I go back into the HR portal and go into documents, right now, there's not any button for me as an employee to add things. I can only see documents that have been shared with me by the company. So if you do want to enable people to upload their own documents, you can come into here in the dashboard. Let me expand this so we can get access to the settings button in the top right. And we can say, yep, we want to let team members do uploads from the portal. So if I go back into the portal and refresh, I now should have a button where I can upload my own document. So, if you give someone a paper document to fill out manually, you can have them, take a photo of it and upload it here. That way it can be stored on their employee profile. And so switching from admin to personal portal, it is 2 different websites. In total, MITRE has 3 platforms. So the first platform is the dashboard. So that is dashboard.mitre.com. This is where admins log in. This is where you can have other managers log in. And this is going to be where you manage your timesheets, where you manage payroll, and where you keep all of your team member information and do general setups and configuration. So that's dashboard.mitre.com. Then we have the HR